Good morning from the National Weather Service office in Lake Charles. I'm meteorologist Donald Jones, and this is your weather briefing for Thursday, September 1st, with the latest on Tropical Storm Hermine. Let's start by taking a look at the forecast track for Hermine this morning. And Hermine is only about 12 hours from landfall, with landfall expected in the Big Bend region of Florida later tonight into early tomorrow morning. Winds are currently sustained at about 65 miles per hour with higher gusts, and Hermine is forecast to continue to intensify and is expected to become at least a minimal Category 1 hurricane before landfall later tonight. Category 1 hurricane requires winds of at least 74 miles per hour. The storm is currently moving to the north-northeast at about 14 miles per hour, and that speed is expected to increase as it continues to be picked up by a cold front moving to the south. Once the storm does move inland, it'll start to weaken and then eventually make the transition to an extratropical storm as it's absorbed by that cold front. Nonetheless, strong gusty winds are expected to remain with the system, and tropical storm warnings have been posted for the east coast of Georgia, South Carolina, and part of North Carolina, along with a tropical storm watch for the northern half of North Carolina. Now, the latest track indicates that Hermine, or the extratropical version of it, will slow down as it moves up the east coast by early next week and could bring significant rainfall totals to portions of the northeast by early to mid next week. Taking a look at the visible satellite imagery for Hermine this morning, you can see that the convection has begun to really wrap around the storm, and it's really beginning to organize as it moves closer to the coast. So it certainly wouldn't be surprising to see Hermine reach Category 1 hurricane status prior to landfall. That being said, there's still fairly significant dry air on the western side of Hermine, so most of the rain activity and the strongest winds are going to be confined to the northeast, east, and southeast sides of the storm, with very little activity on the western side. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Hermine's going to be picked up by a cold front moving to the south, and that front is actually forecast to move very close to and perhaps through our area by early this weekend. So while we'll be dealing with very hot temperatures today and tomorrow, by Saturday, if that front does make it through, which at this point it looks like it probably will, we could be looking at some slightly cooler temperatures, which is to say only about 90 degrees, very little rainfall, and possibly even some drier air as well, which will lower the humidities across the area. It's going to be short-lived, though, as by Sunday the humidity starts to return, and then rain chances return for the early part of next week. So to summarize, Tropical Storm Hermine will make landfall in the Big Bend region of Florida later on tonight, and it's forecast to be a Category 1 hurricane by that time. Across our area, only a 20% chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm today, but it will be hot. Temperatures in the mid to upper 90s with heat indices 105 to 110. And as I just mentioned, a weak cold front is expected to move through the area late Friday night, bringing slightly drier air for Saturday before rain chances return to start next week. With Hermine making landfall tonight, this will be our last video briefing on the storm. Video briefings are created by our office when significant weather is expected to impact the area, so look for them again leading up to our next significant weather event.